Arguably, the biggest driving factor of any fandom is nostalgia. It's what keeps Disneyland going strong after over 50 years, and it's what kept Star Wars alive after the prequels. And in no gaming franchise is the nostalgia factor stronger than in Pokemon. Recently, we've seen Nintendo use this nostalgia, along with new technology, to fuel sales for their insanely popular mobile game, Pokemon Go. While this combination worked for a game on your phone, can you use it to make a full Pokemon game that'll satisfy both newcomers and longtime fans? We're gonna find out today whether Nintendo pulled it off when I complete both Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist. Pokemon Go has been the craze for the past few years, and this year we got the announcement of Pokemon Let's Go, which is supposed to combine the traditional aspects of Pokemon with what we all know with the mobile game of Pokemon Go. And honestly, in my experience so far, the marriage of these two ideas work really well. So today, folks, I'm going to complete both Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Yeah, let's go. Yes! It's impossible to talk about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee without talking about Pokemon Go. For those of you who don't know, Pokemon Go is a mobile game where you walk around in the real world and catch Pokemon. It was every 90s kid's childhood fantasy come to life, minus hanging out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Pokemon Go was the perfect combination of nostalgia and innovation. In fact, Pokemon Go was so good at what it did that it brought back fans who hadn't played a Pokemon game since Red and Blue released in 1998. And in return, those fans introduced others to Pokemon, thus creating new fans. Pokemon Go fever spread like a Pokerus. It brought strangers together. People were passing on Pokemon knowledge to children and introducing a whole new generation of kids into the fandom. I even made friends with a 12-year-old kid. I know that sounds creepy, but trust me, it really wasn't. Even though it kind of sounds creepy still. Game Freak knew that they had to capitalize on Pokemon Go's popularity, but how? The game needed to combine the same addictive nature of catching Pokemon in real life with the gameplay that fans knew and already loved. Their solution was to take a game that people already loved, Pokemon Yellow, and substitute in the catching elements of Pokemon Go. This made a lot of longtime fans of the franchise nervous that the game was going to end up as a glorified Pokemon catching simulator with a Pokemon Yellow skin. But fortunately, that's not the case. While the catching mechanics have changed, the battle system and story remain mostly the same. This makes Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee feel like another main game to the franchise and not just a gimmicky side game like Pokemon Dash or Hey You Pikachu. Oh my god, can you imagine if this game played like Hey You Pikachu? That is genuinely terrifying. Which reminds me, I think I have a new pitch for Super Beard Bros. Now, Pokemon games have always had plenty of stuff for completionists to do, and these two new ones carry on the tradition. The first thing I'm going to have to do is defeat the 8 gym leaders from the Kanto region, and then conquer the Elite 4 to become the Kanto League champion. And honestly, I've done this part so many times now that I am really not worried about it. Come on, Pokemon, get back to me when you're Dark Souls. Next, I'm gonna have to catch each and every Pokemon in the Kanto region. And since we're now able to actually physically see each and every Pokemon in the overworld, it's really going to eliminate the frustration of running into a million Zubats and Rattatas, hopefully. And lastly, after I catch every Pokemon, I'm going to have to tackle a new feature introduced in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, the Master Trainers. Throughout the region, there are trainers who are the masters of each individual Pokemon. You have to defeat these trainers in a battle with the exact same Pokemon, Charizard versus Charizard, Magikarp versus Magikarp, etc. There are 153 Pokemon in total, so I'll be training as many Pokemon as possible along the way as I can. But Gerard, you said 153, aren't there only 151 Pokemon in the Kanto region? You are correct, but Pokemon Go has introduced 2 new Pokemon, Meltan and its evolved form, Melmetal. In order to fully complete everything this game has to offer, I have to transfer these Pokemon over from Pokemon Go. Not to mention the fact that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are 2 companion games like the originals, which means I'll have to do everything I just said twice. But to be totally honest, I haven't played Pokemon Go in a very long time. I wonder if I know anyone who's played Oh God, Bradley! You scared the hell out of me!
I'm sorry, I just thought maybe you needed a Melton, and you know, I love Pokemon Go, and I have several from when I was in San Francisco.
Yeah, shut up, Bradley, I'll take it.
Okay, do you want Melmetal too? Because that takes like a bunch of candy, and you gotta level it up, and
I said get out, Bradley!
Okay, I'm sorry.
When I completed Fire Red and Leaf Green, I claimed that those games were similar to a 5-star chef recreating their mother's favorite meatloaf. All the nostalgia and quality of the original with a more refined presentation. Well, pull up a chair, grab your fork, and put your napkin in your lap, folks, because Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are filet mignon. You are a 10-year-old kid, and today is the day you take elemental animals and venture out into the wilderness, battle your rival, dismantle criminal organizations, and literally capture and control gods. While the plot is the same as always, I only really have one real complaint. The rival is easily the lamest rival that has ever been in a Pokemon game. But what about Blue? Isn't he your rival? Yeah, that's the problem. He's not Blue. The rival's some other kid who, honestly, I don't care enough about him to look up his actual name. I named him Pepsi Man in Let's Go Pikachu and the Burger King in Let's Go Eevee, but seeing how he's so boring and irritating and I feel like the world would be better off without him, I'm just gonna refer to him as the Burger King because Sneak King sucks. Now, the King is in the game at all the places where Blue used to be, but he has none of Blue's personality traits. Blue was a great rival because he was an He was cocky, headstrong, and always one step ahead of you. This made you want to beat him. Whereas Blue is your rival, the King is your rival and your best friend. He's unsure of himself, a coward, and is always one step behind you. I wanted nothing more than to avoid this kid. The King is the complete opposite of Blue in every way possible. Even at the end of the game, the dude somehow, in all of his bumbling ways, is able to become the champion of the Elite Four. And then when you beat him, it's kind of weird. Remember when Professor Oak told Blue that his lack of kindness made him lose to you? Well, the moral of the story for the King is literally that kind heart of yours may be causing you to hold yourself back when it comes to your Pokemon. Seriously? He's being too kind to his Pokemon? Did I win because I was a little bit meaner to my Pokemon? Oh no. This game is trying to turn me into Blue, but I know that's impossible because Blue's already in the game. Ha! Smell you later, King! Your starter in this game is either Pikachu or Eevee, surprise, surprise, and they are so much more than just another Pokemon in your party. You can play with them, dress them up, and change their hair. Instead of HMs or ride Pokemon, Pikachu and Eevee surf, move boulders, and take care of every other need you might have in the Kanto region. Pikachu and Eevee are especially badass in battle. Instead of coming out of a Pokeball like every other Pokemon, Pikachu and Eevee jump off of your shoulder like a Valkyrie descending from the heavens. Valhalla, motherfucker! The thematic shift from douchebag rival to timid friend is echoed in the entire marketing scheme for these games. This isn't about red versus blue anymore. This isn't about fire versus grass. This is about you and your team becoming friends and working together. While the rival leaves a lot to be desired, there are some really cool cinematic moments throughout the plot of the game. You get to see gym leaders and Elite Four members interact with the world and actually affect the story. You also get to see some really tender moments as full cutscenes, like when Cubone reunites with its mother. Speaking of cutscenes, the visuals in this game are incredible. What were once basic sprites are now gorgeously detailed and animated in HD. This is especially evident in the gyms. The extra amount of detail makes each gym feel much more epic than in the previous games. Take, for example, Koga's gym. It's still the same invisible wall puzzle, but now the ninja theming is through the roof, and the whole gym is shrouded in a mysterious fog. Then there's Sabrina's gym, which still has the teleporting squares, but now you're traveling through a giant psychic city. God, that's so cool! Even the small detail of having an audience in each of the gyms makes it feel like you're not just playing a level of a video game. What you're doing is an event, and it's such a big deal that locals from the city are watching you. You're not just a 10-year-old kid anymore. You're LeBron James, baby! The gyms aren't the only things that look awesome. The different routes and caves that you travel through are great too. Each route has its own unique look this time. But that's not the coolest part. The best part is that you can see all of the Pokemon in the overworld. Gone are the days of RNG and a flashing white screen. Now all wild Pokemon are visible ahead of time, and it had more of an effect on me than I realized. In the old games, when a Pokemon appeared on screen, it was usually the same size as you. Now, each and every Pokemon are made to scale. When you travel through Viridian Forest, all of the bug Pokemon are tiny and swarming all over the place. And in mountains or tunnels, Onix towers over you and you can literally run underneath its head. Now this seems like such a small detail, but it adds so much to the atmosphere of the game. It's almost like a Pokemon safari and it feels absolutely magical. Speaking of magic, the score is incredible. It includes all of the classic songs from the first games, but fully orchestrated. I would love to give an example for one song that stands out, but you should just really listen to the whole soundtrack. Now, one last thing that was constantly on my mind while I played these games was, is this game trying to be the Pokemon anime? And if not, why not? While the game is constantly referencing the titles that came before it, a lot of the sound clips and physical character models are straight from the anime. But Pikachu and kind of Eevee are the only Pokemon that are using their anime cries. I think it would have been really great if they embraced it and just used all of the voice clips from the show. But the absolute best part of the game is that any Pokemon that you catch can follow you. Thank God that is finally back. Not only that, but you can even ride certain Pokemon. You can fly high on Charizard, Dragonite, or Aerodactyl, but my favorite Pokemon to ride has got to be Snorlax. It takes huge, dopey steps while you hang on to its belly. While Snorlax is not the most efficient way to travel, this is the closest I'll ever get to being in My Neighbor Totoro. In Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, the catching mechanics take a massive step in a new direction with the addition of motion controls, while the battle system actually takes a few steps backwards. I have mixed feelings about both of these changes, but I don't think they take away from playing through the main game. However, there are some parts of the completion process that were like Chinese water torture. Time-consuming, gave me a headache, and probably should have been banned at the Geneva Convention. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. How does the game control? Overall, it controls fine. You're able to do all the same things you've always done in Pokemon games. Run around, catch Pokemon, and battle them. However, there have been some drastic changes to the controls. Since there are multiple controller options, as well as the option to play the game in handheld mode, there are different potential control schemes. If you're playing on your TV at home, then you will either be playing with a single Joy-Con or the Pokeball Plus. This is kind of frustrating because it forces the user to absolutely use motion controls. While they look and feel a little bit different, both controllers basically play the same. You move around with the joystick, open the menu with X, and select things with either the trigger or a button. Once again, this is unfortunate because you cannot play the game in TV mode without motion controls. And if you're playing the game with a single Joy-Con, you have to hold it vertically, which means you need plenty of space around you to catch that Mon. In order to catch a Pokemon, you first need to walk into the Pokemon. This replaces the random battles, and I am all for it. I love that you can just avoid Pokemon like you saw your ex at a party. No, Zubat, you're too clingy. I need some space. Respect me. Respect me. Once you make contact with the Pokemon, you then move the controller as if you're throwing a Pokeball. At least that's what the game wants it to feel like. If you want to throw the ball accurately, you actually need to make like an Indiana Jones type maneuver and act like you're whipping the Pokemon. While these motion controls have been getting a lot of flack, I really don't mind them that much. While it's not perfect, it actually does feel good to throw a Pokeball and catch the Pokemon. You know, just like in Pokemon Go. However, it's much more accurate and satisfying to do this in handheld mode. The controls for handheld mode more resemble the classic Pokemon controls because Pokemon has mostly been a handheld game. The main difference comes with using the Switch's gyroscope to aim at the Pokemon and hit the A button. While you're not doing the throwing motion, it still feels like you're aiming and it's just as engaging. However, the weirdest part about catching Pokemon is that you don't have to battle the wild ones when you find them. You just feed them a berry maybe to possibly make it easier to catch them and then throw a Pokeball. On one hand, I no longer have to worry about accidentally killing a wild Pokemon. On the other hand, there's almost no strategy to catching them. But on the other third hand, Pokemon like the legendary birds and Mewtwo now feel much more important because they are the only ones that you actually have to battle in order to capture them. The other new catching mechanic is the catch combo. Every time you catch the same Pokemon in a row, your catch combo increases. You can do this up to 30 times, and every time after that, the bonus just stops going up. However, you can lose this combo if a Pokemon runs away or you catch a different Pokemon. Getting a large combo going causes stronger versions of Pokemon to appear. It may make other rare Pokemon appear as well, and it also makes your overall party earn a lot more experience. But the best part about each combo is that they can also increase your chances to getting a shiny Pokemon. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this makes Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee the easiest of Pokemon games to get shiny Pokemon in. I caught several different shiny Pokemon without even trying. You want proof? Take a look at my perfect shiny Weedle. That's right. You're going to be the prettiest Beedrill at the ball. New to the franchise is the drop-in and drop-out co-op system that lets anyone around you who wants to play with you join in. Honestly, playing in co-op mode makes the game way too easy, and I only recommend it if you're playing with a little sibling or a significant other. But the most useful thing about co-op mode, if you use your Joy-Con mounts included with your Nintendo Switch bundle, you can increase your chance catches and power boost your Pokemon via earning more experiences because of player 2 being there. Catching Pokemon has taken a lot of steps in a new direction, but battling has actually done the exact opposite. Battles are now much more similar to the mechanics of Pokemon Red and Blue than Pokemon Sun and Moon, in the sense that some really crucial aspects have been removed. Pokemon no longer have abilities and can no longer hold items. This changes the strategy around battling a lot for veterans, and I'm sure a lot of hardcore fans are pretty upset about this. But for Completionist's sake, that doesn't really affect me, so I don't mind it at all. It's kind of like if you eat at a sandwich shop because they make a great Italian sub and they have your favorite Hawaiian onion chips, but then they stop carrying the chips. Yeah, it sucks that the chips are gone, but you still get that tasty Italian sub. What I'm trying to say is, Jersey Mike, start carrying those goddamn onion chips again. What the hell? Bring them back. Since all Pokemon can be seen in the overworld, completing the Pokédex has gotten a lot easier. Between Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, there are exclusive Pokemon yet again, but it's not that big of a deal. I can focus on a common Pokemon, build up that catch combo, and then a rarer Pokemon will start appearing. Being able to focus on a specific tactic and not pray for RNG to work in my favor made this a lot more fun for me. The Kanto region has never been more alive in my eyes. I love exploring this game. This is the third time I've completed a Kanto region-based Pokemon game, and hands down, this version is my absolute favorite. Fighting Team Rocket has never been this fun. Taking on the gym leaders felt like an actual triumph, and I felt super motivated to get those gym badges. And the bond I had with my Pikachu and Eevee played a crucial role in my experience. Simply feeding them or playing with them, even seeing them run around with me, tied the entire experience together to the point where when I defeated the Elite Four, I truly felt like it was a huge accomplishment, even more so than completing the dex itself. And then I stumbled into the Master Trainers. Defeating all of the Master Trainers absolutely sucks. They only appear after you've beaten the Elite Four in the Pokemon League, and each of these trainers have raised their Pokemon to around level 75. As long as you got the exact same Pokemon that they've got in your party, you can challenge them to a battle whenever you want, but you don't even stand a chance of besting them if your Pokemon are not even in the same level range. And even at that, their Pokemon have been given a ton of drugs to buff their stats. Have you ever fought a Metapod who can outspeed the living shit out of you, but only knows Tackle and Harden, and you only have so many moves, so you end up having a struggle off that takes 35 minutes? Yeah, these challenge trainers are more than just having the best stats. You also need the best strats, and luck, and patience. Lots of patience. Get ready to teach your Pokemon Toxic, Substitute, and Protect. Not to mention a lot of the Pokemon can only learn so many moves from the TMs, so the patience and luck factor can sometimes take hours to kick in for both games. One of the coolest things for me personally are these Master Trainers. I know I just described how hellacious they were and how unfortunate they are, but whoever the localization team is at Pokemon HQ, I just want to give a really big thank you. For those of you guys who don't know, these Master Trainers in Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu, are references to people And there's a reference to the Game Grumps, there's a reference to The Simpsons, and the master trainer for Dratini in this game is a reference to me. If you battle the Dratini trainer, this person is named Gerard, and I know it is me because of two reasons. One, it's spelled exactly like my name is, and let me tell you, there's no one I've met in my life who has the exact same spelling of my name. And two, the Pokemon choice is Dratini, and if you paid attention to our Fire Red, Leaf Green playthrough on Beard Bros, my Pokemon choice on that thumbnail was a Dratini, and the Clefairy Master Trainer is Alexandria, aka Alex Fasciani. So, whoever is in charge over there at Pokemon HQ, thank you for immortalizing what we do here. It's the coolest thing ever. I'm so grateful. So thank you, whoever you are. You're the best. Thank you. The worst part about the grinding is that if you already have beaten all of the trainers in the game, then the only way to get experience is by catching Pokemon. And if you run out of balls, you have to buy more. But if you can't battle more trainers, then you really can't make any more money. Fortunately, I had help from the community out there when it came to raising the Pokemon that I caught. I just want to give a big special thank you to our Patreon Discord helpers. A big thank you to Brandon, Andrew, and Michael. I could not have done this without you guys. And with their help, I am mostly done. Now all I have to do is find out what level Meltan evolves into Melmetal, and I can finally be done with the Master Trainers all together.
Meltan doesn't evolve by leveling up, dude.
What?
You gotta give it candies from Pokemon Go.
How many candies do I need?
Like 400.
Ah, God damn it! Previous Pokemon games had really cool post-game activities like catching the Ultra Beasts, the Battle Frontier, and even the Sevi Islands. Unfortunately, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are not previous Pokemon games. Beating the Pokemon League for the first time grants you access to the said Master Trainers, as well as the chance to rematch all of the gym leaders in the Elite Four, but they all have stronger Pokemon. You also get the chance to battle Blue, Red, and Green, which is really cool because she has never been in a Pokemon game before this. Welcome to the canon, milady. While this is super cool and adding Green is a really nice touch, all of that is overshadowed by having to defeat every single Master Trainer. Beating each of them grants you the title of Master Trainer for the Pokemon you just defeated. But I already am a Pokemon Master for catching every Pokemon, so this is redundant. Hell, completing the Pokédex also got me the Shiny Charm, so that was still worth more than battling the Master Trainers. And defeating every single Master Trainer grants you the title of Grand Master Trainer. Did Muhammad Ali fight every other boxer in the world after he became the world champion? No, he just stuck to the one title. You were already the master of all the Pokemon, you don't need an individual title for every single one to prove it. While I completed Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, there were 16 gym badges collected, 302 Pokemon caught in the Pokedex, 4 more Pokemon obtained through Pokemon Go, 306 Master Trainers confronted, 150 hours of total playtime, and 1 Master Trainer whose name is actually Gerard, spelled exactly like my name is. And he happens to be the Master Trainer for Dratini. The legend of Bustanut lives on! I absolutely adored playing through Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Walking through the Kanto region with Pokemon all around me put a constant smile on my face. It reminded me of the very first time I played Pokemon, and that's a feeling I never thought I would get to experience again, even at the age of 30. However, I'm upset that the Master Trainers were so mentally draining, and it took all of the wind out of my sail that otherwise makes Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu the perfect adventure for newcomers and veterans. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu is a fantastic time. I had so much fun from start to finish, from getting all the Pokemon on the Pokedex, to battling all the gym leaders and getting all the badges and beating the Elite Four and even training my favorite team. And playing with Pikachu and Eevee themselves is a fun time. The post-game, while not maybe as fascinating as some of the stuff from Fire Red and Leaf Green, it's still super engaging to have to battle these trainers. These Master Trainers are really tough. And speaking of the fact that I am one in the game, that's kind of a fascinating thing. I still disagree with how they presented the whole thing. It's a fun time, but getting those trainers down to the master title isn't really worth it in my eyes. So, with that in mind, guys, I give these games my completionist rating of finish it.
Finish it!
That's all the time we have for today, guys. So please, as always, let me know what you thought about today's episode somewhere on the internet. If you like the show, hit the thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and tell me why I'm a sellout in the comments down below, because that's what you do on YouTube. Let me know. Let me know. What are you doing this weekend? Let me know what you're doing this weekend. Question of the day. That's a thing. Have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you next week for a brand new episode. Bye. I don't know what this was, but...